Hey 614 Black. We're here in Old Town East at the Candle booth to talk to the owner, Stephanie Booth. Come on, let's go. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So, tell me, what's your favorite part of Columbus? What's your favorite thing about Columbus?
Oh my gosh. I think it's how small of a community it still is, but it's growing on the other hand. Just like Old Town East, 3 years ago it was kind of,
Nothing?
Yeah, and now it's just like a bustling community. It's a lot of growth with the locals, with the businesses. It's just a wonderful mixture of diversity around here.
Awesome.
But that's what I love about Columbus. It's small. It has that small community feel, but it's always growth. There's always construction.
There's always construction.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about that. The highways and the byways and taking
Sure.
so long to get everywhere. So, are you from Columbus?
I am from Columbus.
Okay.
Yep. I lived in Michigan for a while. Came back home in 2006 and been here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you come back?
Well, I was going through a separation from my husband.
Got it.
We don't want to talk about that.
Right. We won't talk about that.
But yeah, I came back home, to start over, and got a job at the state of Ohio, and yeah, that's the beginning of my story. Is working for the state.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, with working for the state, what kind of brought you into, okay, I don't want to be in this environment anymore? How do I transition out?
I felt like I had a choice between doing what I was doing, which was making candles, and meeting the demands of my customers. And I had this huge pressure of, doing the 9 to 5, as well as following my dreams, which is being self-employed, independent, an entrepreneur. So that it kind of forced me to just say, okay, I'm going to jump off the cliff.
Okay.
A lot of people, they get comfortable in their jobs, they get complacent, and it was a great situation that I was in. I had been with the state for almost 13 years and, had a mortgage and, was, pretty much comfortable like I was saying. But it was just the demand of my customers wanting to please them and not wanting to give up that part of what I had started, which was, the candle business. So I just took the leap of faith and quit my job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, how did it come from your idea to, okay, I'm going to start making candles? How did that come about for you?
It wasn't so much an idea. It was just me. It was sticker shock.
Okay.
Yeah, I paid $36 for a candle that lasted probably a weekend.
Right.
And I was just left with a remnant container. I'm just smelling the container. I want to buy another one, but I ain't got $36. So I made my own. And I did a lot of research, went on YouTube, did a lot of research on wax and Pinterest. And the beverage candles that I make isn't something that I created. It's just, I feel like it's something that I made my own.
Okay.
So I made my own and posted it on Facebook. And the next morning, my phone was just crazy. Yeah. It was like 700 likes that night. And I had never, I post my kids when they were little. I never had 700 likes, but nothing. So it was a surprise to me, and I felt like I really had something. And I had discussed with my friend and my sister-in-law about a name, and I told her that I wanted to use our name, Booth, in it. And so I think that really gives me that drive to to keep going because it has my name. I feel like that I have to honor it in such a way that, you know, maybe another name or, you know, play on words or whatever wouldn't be as important as, you know,
as
using your
that's
name.
you.
That's yeah. And so
and how fortunate.
how fortunate, right? I know.
Like, it's perfect. It was almost meant to be.
It really
like,
was.
Perfect.
It really was meant to be, and I really had that pull. You know, when they say that you know, it's kind of like pulling you towards, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Listen to that voice in your head. And I swear at work, I was quitting in my head every single day.
Right.
Every single day I was. I was just like, I have to do this. I just feel like this is going to be something special. I know that I'm going to have to work hard at it, but you know, if something goes wrong, you know, or I didn't fill a candle right or something, anything happens, I don't sleep.
Right.
You know, and I hadn't had that drive since I was in my early 30s. So, you know, I was so driven by it, and I was so inspired by my customers because they really believed in me. My family believed in me. My friends really believed in me. I had a friend who's kind of a business partner of mine now. You know, he's like, I really think that you should do this, and he's not one to say, you know, do something, you know, he doesn't waste words. So when he was like, I think this is, you know, something, you got like, something, you should really, then
that got you even more excited.
It did.
Like,
it did.
Not only do I have this idea, but somebody
believes
that's the difference.
Yes.
That is the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always felt like, you know, if I can't do anything else, I hope to inspire, you know, other people to do what it is that I'm doing. Whether it's quitting my job and going after my dreams. I'm not saying don't have an exit strategy. I'm not saying don't have a plan, but I'm saying, you know, can you live with regret? Like I always tell my children, don't do something you can't live with, you know. I couldn't live with not doing this. Right. And so I you know, I felt like I can always go back to a job. Right. And that, you know, that job is there to welcome me. They're so supportive. Even today, you know, even during this pandemic, you know, they're just like, you know, if you need us, we're there.
Awesome.
You know?
Awesome.
Yes. And speaking of the pandemic, it was like, holy Corona.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because I quit my job in November of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my LLC in January 2020. 2020, you know, the unspeakable 2020.
Right.
And I just didn't expect it. I mean, it just kind of really hit me like a freight train. It really did. It really got my spirits down. But the good thing about it is that people still wanted candles.
Right.
People still wanted me to do it. I think that they were rooting for me because it was like, okay, you know, you can't fail because you're inspiring me. So you gotta, you know, you gotta keep going. And I felt that energy from people that I had in my life, my friends and things, that they just wanted me to succeed so badly because they were really like proud of what I was doing. They was really proud that I had, you know, took that leap of faith and followed my dreams.
So from filing your LLC, which you said you did that in January, and from you doing that to the point of you having a physical space, how long did that take you? And also, why did you decide to kind of settle in Old Town East?
Oh, wow. So it took me 3 years to get to the brick and mortar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the time that I started, you know, almost burning my kitchen down to coming here. You know, people, when I would say I wanted a space, that was always my thought. You know, it was always growth. It was never, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going to stay. It was always what's next, what's next, what's next. And what I noticed too about getting from my kitchen to here is acting on things. So Old Town East, you know, he did not want me in his building because he thought I was too much of a liability, and understandably so.
Right.
So I peeked through the windows. This was a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. I peeked through the windows, and I was something was like, okay, try that location again. And so I tried the location again. This was about 2 years into what I was doing. And I
So you were doing web-based before?
I was doing web-based. Yeah, I was delivering to people's houses. Yeah, and I will still deliver.
Nice.
I will still deliver. Yeah, I mean,
maybe you find somebody else to deliver for you.
Yes, I do have somebody who delivers for me.
So you can stay
but
here.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's when I see the reaction on people's faces when they see a candle that doesn't look like a candle, or something I've done for them. That they want a blue candle. They want. I've done aquatic themes. I've done. You wouldn't believe certain. Just things that people want me to specify for them in terms of like a gift or whatever it is that they're doing. But to go back to your question, Old Town East at the time was not bustling. The businesses, I think there was Upper Cup, and then there was, of course, Hangover Easy, Yellow Apple, and Edenberg, and hadn't quite, I don't think they had opened yet when I was looking at the space. But I just saw so much potential in it. I saw so much potential. I saw so much construction. And I've always heard when there's construction, there's growth, And so I was like, let me try him back again. This was, like I said, year 2. And he was like, sure. But there was nobody here. There was really no walking traffic. I mean, like I said, the businesses were kind of like, meh. And then, coronavirus hit. So the businesses were all the way down. And, we couldn't open up until June. And so I just hung in there, I would go into Hangover Easy, and the owner would tell me, or the waiter would tell me, just hang in there. We just need a candle shop in the neighborhood. Just hang in there. We want you to open. We want you to open. So I got a lot of encouragement from the locals and from the other business owners. But it took about, from the time that I started until now, to get to where I am. And I look at it like, if you have this idea and if you want to do something, you have to act on it.
Right.
You can't sit around and wait, and you have to make it happen. I didn't know how to do an expense report. I didn't know how to do my taxes. I didn't know that you have to pay for your employees' taxes when you take them out of your paycheck.
You're like, that's a lot.
Yes. Yeah. So I took that time. Yeah.
You rounded that out first, which is not normally how things go. So I think that you started out in the better end of it. Because most businesses, as I understand it, fail because they don't understand that. They're really excited to get started, but without the knowledge of, well, how do I do my taxes and how do I set this up? And kind of worry about that later, and that's the thing that's kind of the most important.
It's so the most important. Right. Yeah, the IRS is just like, no
They're
joke.
They're always going to be there.
They're always going to be there.
So I want theirs.
Absolutely. Right. So I took that time that we weren't able to open to do a lot of self-taught in that arena, and I encourage everybody to do that with business. I still want to do more further education in business and take seminars and things like that, because I want to grow my business, and I want to know what people are talking about when they're talking about my business.
Right.
And what better way to know that than to educate yourself on that back end, which is equally as important.
Right.
I used to have such an emotional attachment to things, and I still kind of do. But when something goes wrong, I just pretty much get back in the kitchen and fix it and figure out what's wrong. Because like I said, I won't sleep. Right. I don't smell your candle, or there's a sinkhole, or this didn't burn right, and it does. It literally keeps me up at night. So
it becomes an extension of you.
Yeah.
You want to present your best. You want to present yourself, and so you want everything, which is great. Which means that what you do is going to be quality because you believe in what you do.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and I just have to, remind myself that there's going to be a lot of failure before you succeed. Right. Just like anything that you try that's new. I never set out, like I said, to make candles. It was just something that once I did it, I loved to do it, and people loved what I produced. So I was like, okay, I'm 43 years old at the time, and now I found my niche, and
Great.
why not just,
Right. Once you go with it, you gotta, this is
Absolutely.
my area to shine in.
Yes,
so
yes,
to speak.
and it's never too late to find that area. Yeah.
So would you say that for upcoming business owners, that's the best tip that you can give, is just kind of go for it? Or what do you think is the biggest take that you can offer to someone else who's trying to start their business? What do you think is the most important thing?
I think the most important thing is to never stop. There was a time where I had just kind of, didn't hustle as much, didn't do as much customer service, didn't work on my website as much, and I didn't see the sales, I didn't see the excitement that I once did, and I knew it was me. And I knew that, okay, it's not your business, it's you, it's your drive, it's your commitment, it's your dedication to what you're doing. You have to be dedicated, and you have to put everything else aside, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, but rightfully so. You have to put everything aside because, it's so my whole take would be to, if something is calling you to do something and you enjoy it, and you spend hours and hours doing it, do it. Try to pursue that, because that could be your thing, your niche. It could be your life's work. You never know. Even if you are already doing something you think that's your life's work, if you're doing something that people enjoy and it makes them happy and you can inspire others, I would say go for it. And for other business owners, I would say be serious about what you're doing, and never give up. Like I said, I had lack of sales, and my website wasn't doing so well, but that's because I wasn't working. I wasn't, there was a time I was just like, well, maybe this is it for me, 9 to 5, maybe this is it for me. Maybe I should just be happy about, what I have and what I'm doing right now. Because I was doing fulfilling work for the state of Ohio, but it wasn't making me happy. Like I said, I quit every day in my mind.
Yeah.
I did. I did.
Every single day.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it does.
You have to do whatever you're going to do. You have to do it serious. You have to be serious about it, and you have to do it now.
So the big thing is you have your brick and mortar. You have everything changing. You have your website. You have Instagram. Everybody can find you at any point at this point.
Yes.
But what's next?
What's next? Polaris. Polaris Mall, yes. March 15th, we're going to have a second location in Polaris Mall.
Awesome!
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. So that's where we're going next.
So what are your business hours? What time is the shop open? When can we see you come in and bother you?
Yes. So the shop is open from 12 to 6. We're closed on Mondays. You can book the booth from 6 to 10, so in 2-hour increments. It took a lot of trial and error to get those hours. I kind of watched the foot traffic. I kind of watched what the other business owners were doing in the neighborhood and seeing what the need was. And so I changed my hours, here and there. But after a couple of weeks, I think we got 12 to 6 is going to be, our firm hours.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you have an Instagram too?
I do.
Okay.
It's the candle booth, at the candle booth.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, I love. It's a good.
Yeah, everything you're like, I'm sticking with booth. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
I mean,
Consistency.
It is.
You know exactly where to go.
I mean, people who've known me, Stephanie Booth, is like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like I can remember that. That's
Right.
good. Yeah, let's do
Absolutely.
that. So, I know you have a website. What is your website?
It's thecandlebooth.company. We have Book the Booth. We have specialty candles. You can see behind me.
Well, thank you for talking to us.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking.
No, of course. I had to get in here and see and smell and do all of those things.